Hello, one and all, it's my view, Dr. Stone, chapter 189, our Dr. Stone, and woo! It is the 4-year anniversary of this series. Can you believe it's been going on for that freaking long? And, you know, they celebrate in the absolute best way with this amazing full-color shot of the entire team all dressed up in their absolute best outfits. Except for Suka, who's still wearing her, usual dress, but she looks so adorable in it, I don't mind. And then we have Luna, who does not seem to be wearing anything and is instead being blocked by Senku's leg, which, interesting? I'm not sure if there's some sort of hidden meaning or message in that, but I think there might be. I'm curious about that. But speaking of hidden messages, I also think it's interesting that Senku's tie has the patterns of leaves on it, because I think that's, signifying, when Senku first woke up, he covered himself, his nether regions, in leaves. That was the only outfit he owned. And this is, how far he's come from there. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but definitely feels that way. And, just speaking of intentional choices, Senku has a collar on. Not like a, shirt collar, like a full-on dog collar around his neck. Is that some sort of meaning there? Like, is that saying that, moving forward, Senku's gonna be, a slave to someone? He's gonna be underneath someone's thumb and under their control? I mean, he looks so very, very serious in this shot, so maybe. He's also just wearing so much gold. I mean, so much gold. Like, multiple rings, bracelets, little emblems on his shirt, earrings. Not sure about that. Curious. But anyway, let's talk about the rest of the chapter, because that was so utterly, utterly heartbreaking and depressing, and oh my freaking god, are you kidding me? I mean, seriously, when Taiju got blown up, we saw Jen, Jen the trickster, Jen the prankster, Jen who you never really know what he's thinking, because it was always, 10 steps ahead, plotting something, manipulating you with his emotions. He experienced genuine sorrow here. Wake up, dear Taiju. Aren't you meant to be invincible? No matter what abuse you take, you always pop right back up. Isn't that right, dear Taiju? Oh my freaking god, that broke my heart. That broke my freaking heart. And then later on, we had Ryu get shot with a freaking smile on his face. Seriously, that is straight up Will the D moment right there. That is Will of the D, as he just looks so overwhelmingly ecstatic despite the bullet hole in his chest. And I freaking love it. I freaking love you, Ryu. I can't imagine you getting shot any other way than, with a smile on your freaking face. I'm sure that was on your list of things to do, You desire to know what it's like to be shot. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. But, even with all this awfulness going on in this chapter, I am still hopeful. And not just because, every character in this chapter kept talking about how hopeful they were that they were going to win. I mean, seriously, even Kohaku, who's laying there dying on the ground, she's saying, she doesn't feel a hint of fear because she has faith in Senku and the kingdom of science that they will win, they will be victorious. But besides that, I do have hope because of the first page and the last page. The first non-color page, we see them testing out the shock cannon, making sure that as soon as they get Medusa in place, they'll be able to activate it from any spots on the entire base. And I do think that's important because the very last page, we see Senku saving Kaseki from an explosion in his workshop, which seemingly destroys all the diamonds, but I don't think that's actually the case. I think that in Kaseki's hand is one last diamond. The last diamond he managed to perfect before any of this happened. I mean, they kept saying, oh, there's no way Kaseki can get this done while there's, gunfire going off. There's no way Kaseki can get this done before the enemy attacks, but that's not the Kaseki I know. He is a master craftsman. He never fails, and I don't think he failed here. I think he made the perfect diamond. I think he made the battery for Medusa and is going to hand it over to Senku at the start of next chapter, at which point we're going to get a race scene, basically. All the soldiers trying to stop Senku from getting the battery into the Medusa at the base and activating it. I think that'll end with him getting shot, though, and then someone else in the base is going to end up, using the speaker system to activate the Medusa from far away. Could it be Zeno? I mean, maybe. That's a big maybe right there. He did seem touched by, Ryu's big speech about how science keeps moving forward one step at a time, He really was speaking to Zeno's love for science here, and Zeno, really did seem touched by it, though it's definitely worth noting there is blood splatter on Zeno's face in that moment when you see the light in his eyes. Yeah, that's dark. That is so very, very dark. Jesus freaking Christ, this chapter. Anyway, if this chapter wasn't depressing enough, turns out Kohaku's whole plan from last chapter by time because they needed the chance to perfect something, to create some sort of ultimate weapon, some sort of ultimate defense that would allow them to beat Stanley. So, Stanley decides, alright, you know what, we're gonna run full force ahead as quickly as we can to the base and start attacking immediately, which, oh, that's depressing. That is so utterly, utterly depressing. And then Senku decides that Luna's gonna be the next designated survivor and sends her away, which, not gonna lie, I did not expect that. I mean, his reasoning makes sense, saying that she's a doctor so she can reattach any broken fingers or broken limbs they might encounter, after they fall to pieces, which, yeah, that makes sense. But then when Ryu says, hey, Chelsea, you should go as well to be her guide to make sure she stays safe, I dropped the iPad. I'm like, this is it. This is the moment where we find out that Dr. Chelsea is actually super evil. She's going to betray Luna. She's going to capture her. She's going to take her to the Y-Man because she is a high priestess of the Y-Man's cult. And Luna is the Y-Man's daughter. And, then I very, very quickly realized, oh, yeah, I'm wrong, aren't I? I am very, very wrong here. As Chelsea begins crying uncontrollably, because she realized the truth. They're not being sent away to be the designated survivors because the actual chance of them finishing up a diamond is basically slim to none. They're being sent away because everyone else at the base is probably gonna die, and they didn't want to get the girls who can't fight caught up in that, which... oh my frickin' god, that's heartbreaking. That is so heartbreaking. I mean, seriously, I should have realized it sooner because, we see Max try to, argue against this. Hey, we should go with Luna. We're her bodyguards. And then this just super, super serious look on Carlos's face as he stops him. I mean, I was so confused there, but looking back, Carlos realizes, we're sending the young lady on ahead so that she can survive even if we die. Oh, God. Oh, God. And then we have Ukyo realizing, that the fact that Kohaku, Hyoga, and Tsukasa aren't there means they've already been killed. Oh my freaking god. And Luna, she tries to run back. She tries to, go back to them to be with them in their last moments, but it's already too late. The attack has already begun, and I do think, she's going to be a little touched when she realized that Senku basically, wanted her to live above all else. I think she's really going to take that as a sign, that Senku does care about her, but anyway, let's talk about this attack for a minute, because it seems, very, very poorly executed. I mean, for one thing, Zeno is in the base. They want Zeno alive. That's the whole point of all this, the whole reason why they've literally come halfway across the globe. And yet, they are throwing explosives at the base where Zeno is currently staying. Yeah, aren't they kind of worried, they're gonna hurt Zeno by mistake? I mean, seriously, they straight up blew up Taiju simply because he was standing near the wall. What if Zeno was standing near the wall? I mean, at this point, the Kingdom of Science doesn't really have all that much to gain from keeping Zeno alive, so I can't imagine, they're entirely focused on saving his life right now. I could definitely see one of these explosives either killing him or sending shrapnel into him that would cause, permanent damage. There's also the fact, that this, whole base they managed to create somehow, some way, still have a lot of questions about that. It's up on a hill. I mean, they're throwing these grenades almost straight up into the air. If they're timing it just a little bit off, or, their throw is a little bit weak, those grenades are going to come right back down and blow up in their faces. And, while, speaking of this, let's also not forget, they're blowing up things on a hill right above them. So all this shrapnel and debris is going to fall fairly close to them. Honestly, it could hit them as well. This feels just like a very, very poorly, organized military attack right here. I get, Stanley's in a hurry because he wants to make sure, that they don't finish whatever it is they're working on right now, but still, it feels like they could have done a little bit better there. And then, hey, we see Charlotte, and she's still alive. And, she is sweating, so I think she's still recovering a little bit, but I'm really disappointed with her here in this chapter. I mean, Stanley gives the order, shoot to kill everyone but Zeno, show no mercy, which just, oh, god dang you, Stanley, just go jump off a cliff, Stanley, just go jump off a cliff. I'm beyond believing you can be redeemed at this point. Seriously, I would not mind if you died right here. But Charlotte, she was freaking saved by Suka, and now she's attempting to murder all of Suka's friends. Bad, Charlotte, bad. I mean, there is a slight delay here. There's 3 dots, she seems to pause for a second, so I am hoping, beyond hope, that Charlotte ends up, saving the day here. This series almost never does anything randomly. There's always meaning, there's always purpose behind it, and I think the purpose behind Suka saving Charlotte is that down the road, in the next chapter or the one after that, Charlotte's gonna have the chance to kill either Senku or whoever has the Medusa at that moment, and she's gonna hesitate, and because of that, they're gonna be able to activate, they're gonna petrify everyone in the surrounding area. That's my best guess, at least right now. And then Taiju gets blown up, and oh my freaking god, the whole front half of his body is literally burned away. I mean, I get the Medusa's probably going to save him, probably going to save all of them, except maybe Hyoga, but at the same time, you can't just experience that pain. You can't just come that close to death, maybe even experience death, and have it not affect you. I mean, I feel like at the very least, they're going to have some sort of PTSD after this, and Senku's going to realize, he can't be as optimistic as he's been up to this point. He's going to realize, okay, if there comes a point where there is a true enemy, I might need to stop him. I might need to take him down permanently, rather than try to work things out, rather than try these, elaborate procedures to get around doing what I have to do to protect my people. I'm not sure about that. And then we come to the end of the chapter. Ryu has been shot, Taiju, Kohaku, and Tsukasa are all very much near death. Hyoga probably is dead, and the entire, lab and all the diamonds apparently have been burned to dust. That's bad. But like I said, I do hope that Katsuki managed to create one perfect diamond, and they're going to focus on getting it to the Sonic Cannon to activate it, but actually, another thing about it, earlier in the chapter, we saw Chrome standing next to Katsuki, and yet later on, when Senku saves Katsuki from the explosion, there's no Chrome there, so interesting? I mean, actually, now I look at it again, Chrome had Medusa in his hand, and if Katsuki did actually manage to perfect the diamond, wouldn't they have just stuck it in, the Medusa they had on hand? Why would they actually need to bring it to the Sonic Cannon? But, I don't know, I feel like the Sonic Cannon needs to play some sort of role. I mean, Chrome does seem to be yelling at Medusa in the shot, so is it possible that they realize that in order to activate the Medusa, they need more sound? Like, over the hundreds of years they've been on the ground, a part of the device has broken to the point where, it's having a hard time picking up audio, so therefore they need to activate it using the Sonic Cannon? I mean, that would make a certain amount of sense, Senku and Chrome rushing to get the Medusa to the Sonic Cannon to activate it because, they need the amplified sound of it. That would definitely make next chapter exciting and still make sense as they're, rushing there while being shot at repeatedly. I mean, seriously, who's still alive in this base at all? Senku, Katsuki, Chrome, Jen, Max, and Carlos, and Zeno, I guess. But that's about it. So yeah, it's definitely interesting, basically, them playing Keep Away with Medusa as they're trying to get to the Sonic Cannon to activate it. Actually, I was reading this, I was thinking back to, anyone here seen the remake of Jumanji, the first one, not the second one? They had to get the legendary gemstone back to the pedestal and then say the magic word to set everything right. Jumanji! Yeah, basically something like that. My theory for next week is that they're going to do a Jumanji. Why not? Why not? But yeah, anything else down below? What do you think of this chapter? Who do you think is going to die? Do you think anyone's going to die here? I mean, I definitely don't feel like they could, have people come this close to death and not actually lose someone, or death basically loses all meaning. Like, if anyone here has ever... No, I don't want to say that because that series is actually about to come out. Let's say Dragon Ball. Everyone knows Dragon Ball. In Dragon Ball, the Dragon Balls can revive the dead, and they've been used so many times that death has basically lost all meaning in the series. I mean, the planet's been wiped out time and time again, but they just keep putting it back together because of the magic Dragon Balls. So it's reached a point where there's no real consequences to anyone actually dying in the series. And it'd basically be like that here, if after all this, if after all the death, the bloodshed, and everything, everyone was able to just be put back right together again, then, it would really be hard for the series to have any stakes moving forward. I mean, I feel like at the very least, Hyoga needs to die, which I am sad about. I really do like him as a character, but... we need to have at least one death for this series not to lose, the ability for us to actually feel tension, basically. But yeah, link to all this down below. Be sure to like, subscribe to this video, and until then,
peace!